Commissioners are expected to vote on that budget next Tuesday. It could include up to 10 furlough days as well as unpaid holidays for those employees. But the commissioners and the CEO, they're exempt from those pay cuts. And we wanted to know why. A lot of places still closed tomorrow, and all of this is going to ice over. It's just going to be treacherous. So just stay off the road, stay safe. Okay, I just need 2 seconds of your time, Congressman.
Listen, got my face.
Can you tell me why 70% of the space isn't being paid for here? I'd like to know why you voted for that contract when it was $1.5 million more expensive than another bidder.
Well, I'm leaving. It's time for me to go.
Don't you come to me or I'm going to slug you.
You're not licensed, are you?
No, not at all. But hold on. Stop.
She has stopped, and she is a public official. She's an elected official. Do you want to obstruct me? That's exactly what we found happening here in DeKalb County. Several employees getting $20,000, $30,000, up to $50,000 pay raises, while other employees are wondering if they're even going to have a job in a couple of months. The firefighters turned up here on Tuesday night, supposedly intoxicated after a wild night of drinking, and just hours before they were supposed to be on the clock, their idea was to sleep it off. Burrell Ellis said there were never any threats or intimidation tactics used in order to get Chief Foster to resign, but today he flip-flopped on his original claims. Sheriff, we'd like some answers to these questions. Elected officials what?
Let's go, bro. Don't answer the question.
Elected officials what?
Don't answer the question, bro.
Well, top DeKalb County officials are calling on their employees to take some pay cuts. But CBS Atlanta News has learned they won't be cutting a dime from their own paychecks. CBS Atlanta's Wendy Saltzman is asking the tough questions for us tonight. And Wendy, it looked like the CEO didn't want to answer those tough questions.
Well, that's right, Stephanie. I mean, what we wanted to know is why these lower level employees are taking the financial hit for the county's failure to balance their budget, while the CEO and the county commissioners are protecting their own wallets. We went to ask them the tough questions, and I'll be honest, I was a bit shocked by their response. I'd like to chat with you about the furloughs at DeKalb County. I'd like to know why you didn't take a furlough this year or last year. Why didn't you take a furlough? This is your elected DeKalb County CEO, Burrell Ellis, dodging our tough questions about DeKalb's proposed furloughs. We've been requesting an interview. I'd just like to know why these employees, why are these employees expected to take pay cuts, but you're not taking pay cuts?
Excuse me, please. I'm late for...
After 3 requests to interview the CEO, we tracked him down at this public meeting where he tried to slip out the back door. I think these employees and the citizens deserve to know why you're not taking
I'd be more than happy to talk to you.
When will you talk to us? The CEO's chief communications officer, Sheila Edwards, even went so far as pushing our camera to shield the CEO. I'd like to know whose decision it is that the elected officials are not supposed to take furlough days. Whose decision is that?
Why are you holding the door with your foot,
Whose decision
ma'am?
is that? Sheila, whose decision is that? This is Sheila Edwards.
There you go. You can film that.
Remember, you pay her salary, but she blocked us from getting answers about those furloughs.
Bet you can't stop that.
Next week, the commission is expected to approve a proposal to require employees to take 10 furlough days on top of unpaid holidays.
It's a lot of higher-ups getting paid a lot. Why everybody had to take furloughs. I don't think that's right.
An unpopular decision with citizens who questioned DeKalb's leadership from the top. Think they should be taking those pay cuts as well?
More than pay cuts. They should be losing their jobs and stuff like this.
Last year, when county employees were forced to take what the county tells us was a defunded holiday or an unpaid day off, the county commissioners and the CEO were still paid for that day.
Now to some tough questions for a DeKalb County School Board member who's taking yet another shot at CBS Atlanta News today.
Yes, less than a day after issuing an apology for threatening to slug CBS Atlanta's Wendy Saltzman, Zipporah Roberts now claims she was bullied. Wendy?
Well, this story just keeps getting weirder and weirder. We were investigating nepotism in the DeKalb County school system when Vice Chairman Zipporah Roberts threatened to slug me. Parents clamored for her to step down. And now today, in another rant, she claims we were the ones who threatened her.
I
have no more comments to say to you, and don't you come to me or I'm going to slug you.
This is the interview that has DeKalb teachers and parents calling for Zipporah Roberts to step down. You can see my demeanor. Hi, Zipporah. My name is Wendy Saltzman. I'm with CBS Atlanta News. How are you doing today?
Not well.
And her hostile response.
I am sick and tired of you and all of these people making an issue about my child.
Yesterday, Roberts issued a statement saying she inappropriately threatened the reporter.
I'm going to slug you.
And apologized.
The best thing for the school district and her district would be for her to step down.
Then today, when we went back to ask about demands for her removal, Zipporah was back on the attack. Student would be suspended for making those comments. Do you think you should step down?
No, because I was bullied and threatened by CBS.
In this interview, I'm doing a story on nepotism within the DeKalb County
I know
school
that
system.
you are, and I have no comments to say to you.
Zipporah now says she is the victim.
You bullied me. You ambushed me. I felt threatened, and I was bullied.
Now other school board members are stepping up and taking a stand about how the school board should respond. Some people have asked for her to step down or for you all to censure her.
Stick around. That's all I'll say. Stick around.
Now, we have put the raw, unedited versions of both of my interviews with Roberts online so that you can decide. It's interesting to note that DeKalb County Schools doesn't have a policy on bullying, either for their leaders who make threats of violence or for their students. Atlanta's the world's largest airport. In the billboard advertising space, there is prime real estate for 90 million sets of eyes each year. Yet we discovered the city's been giving away millions of dollars in billboard advertising for free. Our tough questions got the outgoing general manager's blood boiling as we expose years of wasted money. Can you tell me why people aren't paying for 70% of the space? Excuse me, Mr. DaCosta. Ben DaCosta tried to shove off our tough questions. Excuse me, Mr. DaCosta. About these billboards worth millions of dollars, advertising everything from computers and telephone companies to hotels and medical devices. Can I talk to you for 2 seconds about the free advertising the airport's been giving away? We caught up with DaCosta on his way into work to ask him about this plush Clear Channel contract that's potentially cost the city in excess of $23 million in the last 5 years.
Excuse me, please.
Isn't this a waste of taxpayer money? As part of our investigation, we reviewed Clear Channel records and found only between 30 and 40% of these billboards are actually being paid for. Up to 70% of them are a virtual waste of money, valued at millions of dollars, but they're being given away for free. Can you tell me why 70% of the space isn't being paid for here? Mr. DaCosta.
Ma'am.
DaCosta wouldn't answer our tough questions, but Mayor Kasim Reed did.
The only thing that I really have to say is that you are correct.
The airport's failure to aggressively pursue advertising revenue is so obvious, the mayor didn't even deny it. Shouldn't we be concerned that this money isn't being collected?
Well, you know, I am more than concerned about it. I want it collected, and that's why I'm laying out. I've looked into it, and I know what the issues are.
The issues, according to the mayor, are twofold: the recession and a looming lawsuit filed in 2004 he claims prevented the city from rebidding that contract. But the city's losing millions in the process.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, CBS Atlanta has found O'Hare Airport, which has 25% less passengers, is making $3 to $7 million more in advertising every single year than Atlanta, the world's largest airport. We're not even keeping up with an airport that's smaller than Atlanta.
Yeah, and I agree. And that's why we are going to do something about it.
We've tried to get a response from Clear Channel several times, but they refused. And of course, all of this is happening as the airport is cutting jobs and increasing the gate, airport, and parking fees that you pay. Fred Lee is a smooth talker who boasts of a multi-million-dollar home, Bentleys, and a $100,000 a week salary. But watch out, although he's been served with a cease and desist order in Georgia and he's under investigation by the DeKalb County Police, you'd never know it. His business is booming and the number of victims is growing.
Every first Tuesday, I'm waiting to see if my name is on the foreclosure list.
Val Littleton is just one of the people living the same story, the same nightmare told time and time again.
He said, I got you. Val, I got you. He got me in foreclosure.
Most of everything is a lie.
If it happens and I lose my house, I have nowhere to go.
These are just a few of the victims of this man, Frederick Lee.
Watch this, watch this. Now, this is going to blow you away, young lady.
Lee is a self-proclaimed multimillionaire. He lives in a $6 million home in one of Atlanta's most exclusive communities, has countless cars, and a luxurious life almost anyone would envy.
In 2006, I took home $11 million.
But some people warn this lifestyle has been fed off the misery of others.
I'm in foreclosure.
Lee and his company, Matrix Capital, sell people the promise of a loan modification for $1,500 up front. He says he'll get you a lower interest rate, and while he's negotiating, you don't have to make a payment. You can live mortgage-free, and people have believed him.
So when it makes sense to go in modification and no payment during that process.
Lee holds packed meetings like this one across the Southeast, luring in new clients.
Did you make payments during that 15 months?
Yeah.
Well, you proved that you need one.
And while it sounds good, there's a catch. What he doesn't tell clients is as part of his process, after you don't make the payments, the bank may foreclose on your home, and you may have to file for bankruptcy to save it.
It's not that we wouldn't have understood, Fred. It's you knew we wouldn't have did it. And your pockets wouldn't have been $200,000 richer every week.
Littleton put her home loan and 2 car loans in Lee's hands, looking for a better rate. She had no idea what she was in store for. Her house is now in foreclosure, and she had to hide her car to keep it from being repossessed.
Studies have shown that most banks will not start the modification process until you're at least 2 months behind.
Lee's process involves gambling with people's lives.
So your financial advice is don't make the payment for a couple months.
Stop.
Then they threaten to foreclose on your place. And then that's how you get them to modify your loan.
Ma'am. Me and you both know what I just said. Until you're at least 2 months behind.
A game these victims lost at the hands of Frederick Lee.
You're going to get all the collections. You're going to get all the ugly calls. You may even get defaulted on.
We haven't found a single person who says they've successfully had a loan modified with Lee. The police are also now on his trail. We'll tell you more about their investigation tomorrow night at 11.